hey guys, what should we play?
Well, I just bought the new version of Candyland. How about we play that?
How about you add that to your list? Hey guys, I'm Tim.
I'm Bob.
I'm Mike.
And this is the Board Game Rundown, and today we are going to talk about the top 5 worst games that we own. So we have perused our massive collections and then Mike's significantly smaller collection. Not that size matters, that's what you do with it.
That's right, Mike.
But and we've picked out the worst games that we've owned.
Yep.
I will say, I started originally doing this list by finding like the lowest ranked
Plays.
on BGG.
Oh, okay.
But then I was like, no, I'm just going to go off the ones that are like probably the worst games. that I
Yeah,
own.
I went through my collection. I was going through and I was like, I would never pull it off the shelf. Write the name down. I would never
sure.
pull it off the shelf. Write the name down. And then I kind of went through and ranked them. So
Okay.
Because just some of the worst ones that I
Got cut?
originally wrote down, but
so
I'm not going to use.
You're honorable mentioning already? Dishonorable
No,
mentioning?
I'm not going to say the names of the games. I'm just going to say
okay.
the score. Let the man talk. But
I'll allow it. Go ahead. What were you saying?
5.479 was one of the lowest ones.
That's, I mean, for BGG, that's not terrible.
Well,
Or
you know,
did you rank it that low?
No, I didn't rank it that low. I didn't rank it that
Say.
low. But no, I think for BGG that's terrible because while we've had the argument on the show before over like what's a good BGG score and like somebody saying a 6 is a perfectly fine score. I mean, if 5 is average, a 6 is slightly
good.
above average. It's like, no. If somebody tells you, if Mike were to come and go, well, I'd give that game a 6, I'm like, Mike didn't like that game.
Yeah,
Right? Now, maybe that's a flaw in the scale,
maybe.
but I'm just telling you the way perceptions work. So I just went with the games that I kind of like Bob wouldn't pull off the shelf to play unless somebody asked me to.
Yep.
There's several on my list that I've actually tried to trade or sell multiple times, and people will not buy them from me.
Yeah.
I like have to give them away.
Good luck.
And so, yeah, there's one of them on here that we reviewed.
Oh, okay.
So I can't wait to get to that one.
Nice.
But you must have ended up with that review copy.
Nice. How about you,
right.
Bob?
Yeah, I actively try to not play these games. Sometimes if one of these games is recommended, I will find something adjacent to it that is much better and say, hey, how about we give this a try instead? Because if you like that, this game does this in the same manner but better. So you'll see some of that.
I don't think anybody would ask to play any of these five.
Some
on
of these have
mine.
definitely been requested.
Wow.
Oh, sure.
Nobody's going to request these from me.
So I will say also though that some of the games that are on this list, I will keep because they do get played, but maybe not as intended.
Okay.
I already know what that one is.
Okay, yeah.
And if you watch our live stream,
Yeah.
you'll probably know what it is as
Yeah,
well.
because Tim owns a lot of bad games.
I'm also going to add, I'm the deal hunter of the group. So if I see a game that's like $5, I'm like, screw it. I'm out $5 if this game's terrible. And there's a couple of those that I bought literally because
So
they
I got
were
like
a deal.
$25 because
Yeah. My whole list was $25. Yeah.
Yeah, my number one will definitely be the one I spent the most money on.
I think I'm going
Okay.
to mention how I acquired these too. So
Sure.
Okay.
Ready when
I
you
didn't-
guys
I
are.
didn't go that far, but sure.
All right, Bob, hit us with a number 5.
Hitting you with a number 5. So my number 5 is a relatively newer game, but Red Rising. I was so hyped. Like, I heard the name being announced. I read a bunch of the books, and the book series are so good. And I played the game and was so let down. I'd rather play Fantasy Realms or Marvel Remix, something like that does it better. And then, to add a little bit of insult to the injury, I got the collector's edition, which the cubes are super difficult to tell apart. And I just, I will never pull that game off my shelf to play.
Yeah, and for you, it's especially difficult, right? Because of the cubes and everything. I will tell you, though, Those gold foil cards.
Their cards are
They're
beautiful.
Beautiful. The artwork
Yep.
in that game is beautiful.
Yep.
But I agree with you. I did buy this game for $5, the collector's edition.
Sure.
It's funny you mentioned $5, but I bought it at like a flea market kind of
Yeah.
thing. And I was like, oh, deluxe edition? Hell yeah. Like, why
Yeah.
not? I want those cards.
Yeah, I'll replace those cubes. Yeah.
Yeah, right. I mean, maybe it'll sit on my shelf for forever, and that's fine too, but
Sure.
whatever.
Yep.
I never played this because I never had any desire to because nobody really said it was that great. So unless somebody demands I play it, I probably never will.
It's fine. It's fine.
Rather just play Marvel Remix.
It was so challenging to discern the difference between the cubes that we might have had a different experience had we not only played the collector's edition
Right.
the first
yeah.
time
Well,
out.
and then the little thing that holds the cards is so tiny and not weighted. The cards, any kind of a slight bump, and the whole thing's falling.
Yeah,
over.
that's a bust. That's a bust too.
Yeah. Yep. It was just a poor father. And like I said, after reading those books, there's so much goodness in there. And after playing Scythe, because I love Scythe, it's one of my favorite games.
Same.
And I was really hoping for more, and it was just a complete letdown.
Listen, I mean, not every game is going to be a banger, and there's plenty of people that love that game, and awesome. You know, like
Yeah.
find Bob. If you can't find a collector's edition, find
I
Bob.
got you. I
He'll
got
get you a deal on it.
$5.
$5.
Mike?
Yeah,
I've heard good
yeah,
things.
yeah. Dude, these cards look great. You should check them out.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna go with my number 5, and it's mostly because this might be like one of the more tasteless games that I own. I played it one time. I thought it was fine, but also it's probably been 10 years since I played it, and I don't know. I think the problem is now that there's other games that will just do it better, and that is Roadkill Rally. So it
Tasteless.
is-
There's a lot of taste in that game. Tim.
Yeah. Because and basically you're just like driving and you're laying these tiles down as you're going, and then you're getting obstacles. So there's like a lot of take that, and then there's like
Obstacles.
school buses of kids. There's cards you're playing, right?
Okay,
There's
yeah.
like suicide bombers. There's all kinds of stuff. It treads some very controversial waters. I won't get rid of it because of that. I like having like weird, quirky things. But it's probably not a great game anymore.
Yeah.
You know, like we cackled and had a good time playing it the one time I played it. But it from what I remember, it was a little clunky. There can be a lot of feel bad in that, because I think that you can take, if I'm remembering correctly, you can knock other people out and then they're just kind of out. And so the game doesn't end quickly thereafter, like some other games do. So Roadkill Rally is my number 5.
Wow. I think I'm glad I've never played this. All right. So you know how everybody loves a game where the victory conditions constantly change, so when you start, you have no idea how to win? That's Zombie Flux. That's the only version of
Or
Flux
any Flux, but
that
yeah.
I own. But all Flux versions are like this, and you may be one turn away from winning, then someone plays a new rule, and now you're 4 turns away from winning. So the game just keeps dragging on and on and on, and you're just trying to prevent other people from winning, and it just goes way too long and is way too chaotic. You cannot strategize, and you're just hoping that you pull the correct cards to satisfy the win conditions that someone has played. I don't think I've ever tried to sell this. I'm like, I'll keep my version of Zombie Flux. Sure. You know, now if somebody asked me to play it, I'd probably just donate it to them.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you want to play this? Here, play it forever,
Yeah.
please.
It's like a cursed item.
This is yours
You
now.
have to get somebody to accept it from you.
Yeah, that's right.
To actually be able to get rid of it.
No, don't take it.
Yeah, please take it.
So yeah, Zombie Flux is my number 5. Never enjoyed any version of Flux that I've played.
There you go. On to number 4.
My number 4 is a bit older than my last one. And I think some people really do enjoy this, but I've had a lot of really bad experiences, and it's worth actually some money now that I've looked it up. Dungeon Quest.
Oh yeah.
So it's an old dungeon exploration game where you're pulling tiles out, like, and as you move along, and you can't do fun things like I'll peer into the next tile to see what it is before you make that step. No, you just pull it out. You might pull the pit, and you know what? That be on your third turn. You're done. Sit there for an hour and a half while everybody else plays the game.
Yeah.
Ouch.
And it's bad. Like there's like a lot of cool things that game does do, but there's so much feels bad if you pull the wrong tile at the wrong time, or then you're out, and you just sit there.
That
and
would
that's
be
not
a
fun.
good exercise in like how do we make this game.
Yeah. We
Playable.
played without those tiles. Like you pick the certain tiles and then pull those out. You play the game. It's a lot more fun.
Or just find ways to mitigate around it. You know what I mean?
sure,
Some
like make a
different things.
roll or respawn or
Yeah,
something like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
but yes, yeah, it's not good.
But some people, I mean, there is the nostalgia, right? Oh, I played
Yeah.
this game when I was young and I loved it.
Yep.
And, hey, that's awesome. Mm-hmm. And you could also just sell it for a bunch of money.
I thought about it, but yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go. My number 4 will sort of be my obvious one. No, it's not going to be. It's going to be one that I played most recently, but not as intended because there's 2 that are that way. But my kids love this. But it is basically just a toy, and I don't ever really want to have to really play it. And that is Fireball Island.
Yeah.
My
was
son
on my
like
list.
literally was like, I want to play the volcano game, and so we get it out, and
Let them fling the little marble all
yeah,
over.
no, I mean, yeah, we just
Good job, bud.
like we played like a 15-minute version where it's like run, get the jewel, get to the helicopter pad, and then like whatever we decide makes the marbles come out, and oh, I got knocked down. Now you drop the jewel. We get through this game like super fast. And then it's kind of like, okay, bud, do you want to play with it more? Or can I put it away? I'm going to play with it. So he'll mess
Sit there
around
and
with the
just play with
marbles
it. Sure.
for a little bit. And I just let him do that. And I'm like, let me know when you're done and I'll put it away happily. But I mean, I get it. I understand what they were doing. And again, the nostalgia theme.
Sure.
But
That tell you what, and that was one of the things that first really turned me off of restoration games.
Oh,
but then
that first-
but yeah, that it was so bad. So I didn't back Dark Tower, and then came V for Vendetta, and you totally redeemed yourself.
V for Vendetta?
Not V for Vendetta. The Vendetta Maximum Chrome.
you're talking about Roadkill or Thunder Road.
Thunder Road.
Good
Yes.
Lord.
That's why I was way off.
You were way off.
But since Vendetta in there, doesn't it?
It may be.
It does.
Yeah, Vendetta is one of the versions.
Okay.
Yeah. So it wasn't that far off. But anyways, redeemed themselves. 'Cause
They did.
They did.
No, they did. But some of the problem with that Fireball Island was your box. The other printings,
the first printing.
the printing that I got, which was super cheap at a big box store, which was everything that somebody who just backed the base game in at Kickstarter for $100.
Yeah.
With the box that literally, it's like one of
It's so
those
flimsy.
It's like one of those gift boxes for like clothes.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was that thin.
Literally made like
and you
that.
could like collapse it.
Because I remember when I went to pick up, I was like, "Oh, Bob, you got this." I'm like,
Like,
"Oh no, what have I done?"
And then,
Yeah.
of course, unfortunately, there were heavily discounted versions available within several months of that release
Yeah.
as well. But fortunately,
Yeah.
Thunder Road restored your faith in restoration
Well,
games.
and
It
Return
did.
to Dark Tower is also awesome. They did a
Yes,
great
yeah.
job.
Yeah,
Restored
those
your
games
faith
are
in
fantastic.
Yeah, that
restoration.
game was
I
really
searched
good. And
it.
so then when Thunder Road came out, I gave it a good look, and I was like, yes, this
Yeah.
looks awesome.
They've
And
been
it
doing great
was-
things ever since.
Yep.
They really have.
Yep.
They really have.
I did tell them that too at Gen Con one time. I saw them. I said, I lost faith in you guys, and you guys came out with this, and you did totally redeem yourself. So
Nice.
They're like,
And the dude's like, "I just volunteered
I
here."
just work here, bro.
Sir, I don't actually. I don't even work here. Yeah. Okay. So, woof. All right.
Right.
What are we on? We're on number. Oh, that
4.
was mine. Fireball Island.
that was your 4.
I was
Jeez,
like,
Sam.
wait. Okay.
All right, my number 4 I bought at Gen Con this year, and we reviewed it, and it's The Gang.
Oh wow! Yeah.
So I
call.
was really excited
You
for this
were.
game. In fact, I put it in my top 10 games you have to buy at Gen Con. I was
And he
really excited
apologizes.
for this. There were a lot of people that, and I was wrong. There was a lot of people that put out videos saying this game was going to be great because I thought this game could do for Texas Hold'em what the Crew did for trick-taking games, which is make it a fun twist on poker
And a
with a
co-op
cooperative experience. And instead, it takes all of the tension out of poker. I mean, you've got special powers, and instead of trying to win hands, you're trying to every turn or like pre-flop, flop, turn, river. You're going to grab chips and rank your hand in order. On the flop, you need to reveal those cards in ascending order, or your hand in ascending order. And there's just not that much tension in that. And it was way too easy. And maybe that's because we've all played a lot of poker. I thought it would be a really good way to get my more casual gaming friends that also enjoy poker to like, here's another game that we could play. And after our several plays of it, not really finding it that interesting or tense, and in my opinion, not even as good as base poker, I'm like, why would I try to get those friends to play this when there's no money being exchanged? The tension's completely gone. And I unfortunately don't know when or if I'll ever play this game again. It's probably going to my sell pile, quite frankly.
There you go.
I was not that impressed. And unfortunately, you can watch our review if you would like. And I don't know that any of us scored it higher than a 6.
Yeah, which if you listen to our discussion earlier, is not a good
Yeah,
score.
but according to some people, might look
Six
at
is
that and go,
fine.
"Well, that's a perfectly recommendable
fine score.
score."
So the
wrong.
gang is my number 4.
Okay, so that's going to take us to number 3. My number 3, unfortunately, I think I own 3 versions of this game. So I didn't learn the first few times, but Munchkin.
Of course.
Yeah.
I also own 3 versions, but I don't have this on my list because I
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah, it just evolves into beat on the leader.
Yeah,
it
it
can
does.
way overstay its welcome. And
Way
yes,
too
it
long.
has, it had its time and place, and it was fine. But nowadays, I don't want to play it.
No, that's fair.
Yep.
That's totally fair.
Yep.
And I enjoy sort of the in jokes, right? Like with the D&D cards,
Right,
themed
sure.
of it and stuff. And the Marvel one is does some interesting things.
I wouldn't actively avoid this one as I do some of the other ones on my list. Like,
Yeah.
especially if somebody I know loves D&D and they're like, oh, that sounds funny. Okay.
Yeah, but you gotta like limit it. You know what might fix Munchkin a little bit
What's
is
that?
if you put like a 30-minute timer on it, and it's like
And
highest level
after
in
30 minutes. Yeah.
Because then it's not going to overstay its welcome.
Right.
You just
Because I think that game drags for 60 to 90 minutes because everybody just keeps, piling on the leader.
Yes.
I'm done.
I think you put
let's
the timer on it.
Oh, yeah, I could do something about that, but I'm not going to. You win. Good job, Tim.
yeah.
Let me mark that on my stats.
Yeah.
Good idea. Doesn't fix Munchkin. I intentionally avoided this game for years because nobody had anything good to say about it. And then we played the South Park version, which is one of my favorite IPs of all time, by the way. Still didn't enjoy it.
No, you didn't. Okay. Yeah. All right, on. My number 3, autocorrect. This game was given to me like a cursed item. It was given to me as a birthday gift from my wonderful sister and brother-in-law, who clearly
Love you.
love me. Autocorrect is basically from, what did we say, 2018, 2019, something like
Yeah.
that. And it's one of those games you'd get at a big box store, and it is a Google autofill. And so it's going to give you the beginning, and then on the reverse side of the card, you've got like 10 things that
Or
it
the
could
top,
be,
the
right?
top hits. Yeah.
Like, why do babies blank? And then on the back of the card, there's like 10 things. I don't really know how you play this game, but we have goofed around with it on the live streams. It's so terrible. It's so stupid. I won't get rid of it because it's given us some really good laughs.
It's hilarious on a live show, but to play
Yeah.
it as an actual game would be very boring.
Oh, it'd be terrible.
It'd be terrible.
It would be hell.
If you want to lose your faith in humanity, just look at some of the cards on this
Yeah.
and go, why are people searching
Yeah.
this?
How is that a top hit on Google? Yeah. What do you mean? You have to know why does baby cry? Well,
Yeah.
Yeah. Why does the baby poop? Because that's what people do.
It's so
Everybody
bad.
poops. They even wrote a book
Check that
about
out, baby. Small person.
it. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I
Checks
expected
out.
it to be your number 1, but you probably didn't want to be obvious because we all play this on the
No,
live
no,
stream.
no, no.
'cause
I've
it's
got a much
stupid.
more anger-inducing one for my number
Oh,
one.
boy.
Good.
So, your turn there, Mike.
My number 3 is an easier version of a game we all don't like, and that is Evolution: The Beginning.
Oh.
So
like Evolution.
Evolution is an engine builder. Correction. Evolution is an engine destroyer.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you get your carnivore out, he's going to eat the other player's best cards. Yes. So you have to keep rebuilding your engine. And I like take that in games. I like player interaction. But man, when you get your engine constantly destroyed, it's not fun to keep rebuilding it.
Gets upsetting.
Evolution, the beginning, is a more palatable version of Evolution. So it takes out some of the more interesting cards and removes some of the mechanics and distills it down to an easier version and makes it worse. So, I've tried to sell this game many times, and I can't even get rid of it for $5. So it's going to become a cursed ring, and I'm just going to hand it to somebody.
You need to bundle it with another game for $5.
Yeah, I'll bundle it
if
with
you buy this,
game.
I'll throw this game in. Like, I was going to buy it, but now I don't want it.
Right.
Would you like the Evolution, the beginning, and the game?
I just had an amazing idea for a Christmas thing for us.
Oh, boy.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, just be ready. Be wary of all Christmas presents. All right, number 2.
Number 2. So my number 2, this game has a wide... many people enjoy this game, especially people who aren't super into games. And whenever I hear it, I roll my eyes because I hate a sole judge mechanic type of thing where you can't even argue your point. There are a lot of games that are judge mechanic based games, but at least you get to argue your point, and it makes it more fun. But when you have Cards Against Humanity and all you're doing is putting a card down and hoping somebody picks your card,
You can't argue because you don't want people to know.
Because you're not supposed to let people know which card is yours.
Right.
And so I cannot stand that game. I own it. I never want to play it. It's Cards Against Humanity. So,
Yeah, that's totally fair.
Well, if Bob takes Tim's idea, it's going to be my Christmas gift.
Yeah, maybe, just maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, now if you're putting out a solution and you're able to argue in defense of your solution and
Right.
make it entertaining,
Yeah.
that's way more fun to me, right?
Yes.
But if you're just like, no, here's my card. Oh, please.
Well, that's why games like Fairy Tale Campaign Trail and
Danger the Game.
Sellout and Danger the Game are better,
Right.
way better versions.
More interactive. It's not just, I'm going to play the card I think the judge will think is the funniest.
Yeah.
It's
You can
just
literally, you can
hoping.
argue your case. Yeah, it's just hoping.
You can't do anything to sway that person at all.
Yeah.
When you can sway or role play, it becomes interesting.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, like, Joking Hazard is basically the same mechanic, but I find that one funnier than because
it
Cards
is
Against Humanity
funnier.
is I think it feels like it's just like the worst things anybody could say.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. It really is just trying to get people to say, like,
Shock factor.
Yeah, the most horrible
Yeah.
things, which is fun for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
All right. My number 2 is virtually unplayable, mostly because people will not want to handle the components. This game actively grosses people out. And it's technically like 5 games in one, and it was intended as a children's game. And I'm talking about the Tooth Fairy from Peterson Games, where the components are literally little plastic colored teeth.
Really?
Which is why people don't want to play with it because
Gross.
they're grossed out by the
I could
teeth
see-
and they clicky clack, they make like a good sound. Yeah, exactly, right? But there's like several different versions, not different versions. There's 5 different games, I believe. I think
Like
there's
mini
5.
games kind of things
Yeah,
inside the
yeah.
box?
You just use the components in different ways and do things with it.
Sure.
I played it a little bit. It's fine. I'll probably always keep this though because it's so weird.
It is very weird.
And
It's very hipster.
The teeth component are really gross, and so if you want to like just mess with people, like that's a great way to do it. So
Sounds like a Halloween gag gift.
right?
You should
Don't you lobby to get that
I know,
from me?
but maybe you could let Katya borrow it so she can make like a
Oh right,
cool
yeah.
mosaic
Katya
with, yeah.
could make a tooth mosaic out of
Yeah.
the Tooth Fairy,
Yeah.
as long as I could get it back.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, Mike.
My number 2 is very similar to Cards Against Humanity, but it just has a more modern and dumb theme. It's New Phone Who Dis.
God.
It is a judging game, except that you are showing screenshots of text messages. And so you got to play your screenshot of a text message and hope that the judge picks yours because it's funnier or more gross than the other ones.
This was so terrible.
We tried to play this on the live stream like one time, and Tim immediately was like, no.
And if I won't play it, you know it's bad. I'll just
Now,
put that out there.
This was, bless his heart, this was a Christmas gift from my buddy Dustin, and he actually thought he was giving me "What do you meme?" because it's from the makers.
Oh, right.
And I don't know if that would have redeemed his choice.
I played that, and it's just as bad.
Just as cringe, except it's more time sensitive because memes don't last very
What?
long. Yeah, memes go out of
Memes
out
are
of
forever.
style. Some are forever, like the ones of Tim. But new phone Who Dis just don't. And I'm not going to give it away because every time Dustin comes over, if he doesn't see it on my shelf, what'd you do with that Christmas gift I
re-gifted it.
gave you? Oh, I put it in
You should
the...
re-gift it to him.
Yeah, I'll put it... Perfect.
Yeah. That way it stays in the group.
Yeah, I'll put it in my trade closet.
Yeah.
Because there is a whole closet.
Closet. Oh, Mike. You need to come out of the closet. With those trades of yours. All right. Number 1. So this number 1, I had, again, high hopes for this game way back when it came out. I had such high hopes for this legacy game that I actually bought a huge piece of clear plastic that I could lay over the top of the board so I could mark on that instead of marking on the actual board so I could get 2 plays out of this game. I never made it through the first play because Seafall is horrible. Like, it's supposed to be this legacy game where you're building up your ship and exploring and doing this other stuff, but then every time you have to reset your ship back to nothing, it's like, well, why did I get rid of those sails? Why did I get rid of my cannons? Why did I get rid of the whole crew? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me why I'm starting over from scratch each time. I want to keep building on my ship and make it bigger and better, be able to go further, to attack bigger stuff and do more things throughout this game. But you don't. You have to turn all your tiles and bits back in, and I was so disappointed in this game. It was one of the very first legacy games I really tried to get into, and man, it was just sad.
Yeah.
I've heard nothing good about this. Never
Yeah.
checked it out. Had no reason to.
It's sitting, like, when you go upstairs to my room, I got all my games, and there's that back shelf all the way down the corner. It's not even like in the S's where it belongs. It's
Right.
just in the
Just
Pretend I don't have it pile.
yeah.
just over there.
Because it's not like I can sell it because I did play like 5 or 6 missions out of it, so it's not like I could do anything with it now.
Yeah.
Keep those components for prototyping.
Basically,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
basically.
again, let's make a good game out of that. Let's make a good sailing game.
Yeah, let's just say we don't reset our ships every time and see how that works.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe we become too overpowered. I don't know. But
Maybe.
Sounds fun.
Who doesn't like being overpowered?
Yeah,
though?
right?
yeah, I didn't say it was a bad thing.
Right?
I didn't say that would have been a bad thing.
Okay, so for a second I thought we were gonna have crossover on number 1.
Wow.
The legacy game.
Nope, it's not a legacy game, and that's how I knew that we weren't gonna have crossover. This was one of my most anticipated Kickstarters.
I know what he's gonna say.
Burned a company for me for a little bit just because I was so disappointed. Now they did do a second edition. Maybe they fixed it, but I just haven't gone back and even looked. I barely even looked at the second
back out.
edition Kickstarter.
Okay.
The Great Wall from Awaken Realms. This game sucks. Oh
What, you
my
mean
god.
the character that's not overpowered that we just depowered because it wasn't overpowered?
Exactly right.
They ran a second Kickstarter and then fixed that character after defending his usage in the first
Yeah,
edition.
in the BGG forums on our video where we complained actively about that character. Well, it's not. It's as intended.
Yeah.
Well, why'd you change it then?
Yeah.
Anyways, this game does so many very, very, very cool things that I absolutely love
Yeah.
and I want to love. It's got great components. The
Yep.
art is super cool and some really, really unique mechanics that just go together like sour cream and ice cream or something. I don't know. Just something.
But you're supposed to pick things that don't go well together.
Yeah. Sauerkraut and ice cream?
Okay, yeah.
Oh,
I'm
we're
out.
in.
Okay.
No.
We're back in.
Anyways, for whatever reason, I just cannot get this game to merge in a satisfying way, or all those mechanics that kind of come together in a satisfying way. And then the other problem is to try to get it back to the table again and again and again. At least at more than 2 players, it's
Way
a
too
3 or
long.
4 hour endeavor.
Yeah. For what that is.
or 5.
For what it is, and it's really tough. I keep like getting really close to getting rid of it, and then I'm like, I need to play it at like 2 or 3 players, but I've only played it at like 4 and 5 players.
Right, which is like the worst player counts.
Way too
Worst
long.
Player counts way too long. I was in hell in a beautiful looking and wonderfully thematic hell. But
And then you looked up and you saw Matt Damon on the wall.
It, like Awakened Realms, it's gorgeous. The components are amazing.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
it tries to do too much and doesn't do anything particularly well. I felt like the semi-co-op part was really shouldn't have been there at all.
No, and I get it, right? Because you're trying to man the wall and do stuff like up there, and that's important, and it's really interesting. But there's other games that have a similar kind of thing where everybody needs to contribute, and if you don't, you get penalized. And I think that, and again, second edition may have fixed some of this. Honestly, I didn't even look at it because I was so frustrated with my first edition copy. But anyways, Mike,
That was a rough learning game.
it was a rough second play. That was a game already knowing the rules.
Okay, so my number one, maybe is no surprise. I've had multiple rants about this game, and it didn't cost me nearly what the Great Wall cost you. But this is the worst game that actually tries to be a game, and it's Oregon Trail, the card game. And see, Pressman Gainey is a toy company, and they decided, let's try, and I'm going to call it this, even though they don't name any designers. So I'm sorry if you designed this game. This felt like a nostalgic cash grab because this game, the only redeeming quality this game has is when it's over and you get to write your dead character's epitaph.
Well, I think if you look on BGG, you know how it has like re-implements? It
Yes.
does say nostalgic cash grab. And there.
There is a newer version that Daryl Andrews made, and maybe that one is a better version because he's a great designer. But I mean, when you play the original compute, because it's based off the old computer game, which I was old enough to play on the Apple IIe.
Yeah.
And in my computer class, and it was kind of cool going around hunting and trying to gather supplies. And then when one person randomly dies, that's funny. But when somebody draws the dysentery card in their first turn, they sit and watch the rest of the game. If somebody pulls the cholera card in the first turn, they sit and watch the rest of the game. And if somebody pulls the snake bite card in the first turn of the game, they sit and hope that everybody else has the bandages to fix them, or they watch the rest of the game, because you can get eliminated based on card draw at any time. And over a quarter of that deck is trying to kill you. And I understand trying to make co-ops difficult, and there's satisfaction in trying to beat it. As that game is designed in the rule book, which is awful and doesn't explain everything, I don't know that it's beatable. They actually made an errata that they put on the Pressman Gainey website that I played, and I actually did finally beat that game. This was a game I tried to salvage and make a game so I could get some casual gamers into, and it worked with a ton of house rules. But the rule book doesn't explain certain cards. The rule book says refer to the card. The cards explain themselves. Except when you go to ford the river and you fail, do you die? It doesn't say. I mean, if I can't ford the river and my family and all my belongings are floating down river, I'm going to assume they're all dead. But it doesn't say. Does one person die? Do you just keep trying to ford the river? Nobody knows. So, I mean, not only did the gameplay was it terrible, the rule book's bad, even though it's 4 pages. It is easily the worst game I have played that actually tries to be a strategy game.
I do have a question, though. Did you feel nostalgia while your cash was being grabbed?
Well, slightly. Fortunately, I got it very cheap from a big box store. That was the only way you could buy it. It is out of print now. And there were some cool 8-bit dice.
Or were you nostalgic for the money that you lost?
Yeah,
More nostalgic
exactly.
feeling. I would say with games like that where you've got those types of cards that kill you, I would maybe, when you get done shuffling the deck, take those cards out, cut the deck in half or in thirds or quarters, shuffle those cards into the bottom parts of that, and then put the rest of it on top. And then you're at least going to get a chance to play before you get bit by a snake or you die of dysentery and you're not sitting there for an hour waiting for people.
Or food poisoning.
Yeah, the problem with the Dungeon Quest one that I said, it's a bag pull. So I mean, I guess I could add them to the bag later on through the game.
after every 10 tiles you pull
throw
throw
one in.
Yeah.
Throw one in, then that's possible.
That was one of the things we did. We lowered lowered the number of cards that could be in the deck. We only put them in the bottom half.
Yeah.
We were giving each other.
I would go with respawn.
More supplies when you got to certain towns. There's ways to house rule it to make it okay, but even the okay house ruled version isn't very good.
And again, right, at the end of the day, the problem is there's other games that you could play with people and bring them into the hobby that don't require all that effort.
Right.
Yeah.
Can be played as intended.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was the first thing I thought of, and I won't ever get rid of it just because it's fun to rant about.
So, real quick at the end, right? We're having a lark, hating on games that we all own.
Yeah.
And played.
I've spent money on all but one of these games.
Oh, because it was a gift?
Yeah, autocorrect was a gift.
Kickstarted, bought, kickstarted.
Yeah.
I've got roughly $65 wrapped up into these 5 games. 4 I purchased, 1 was a gift.
I got twice that in Great Wall alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I wanted the minis and not the wooden
meeples.
meeples. Did you get Great Wall
No,
too?
you were getting it.
Oh. Damn you.
See? And you wonder why I don't want to back all the big
And
Kickstarters.
I have my fair share of Awakened Realms Kickstarters.
Oh, sure,
all
sure,
with
sure.
real art too, and most of them are good.
Oh, yeah, before they went AI.
Do you guys want to hit dishonorable mentions?
No, I mean, I didn't write any down
All right.
for this.
Yeah.
And we're at time anyway.
We are. I
Okay.
did have Fireball Island on my dishonorables.
You're
by the
welcome.
way. Yeah, so
You're
thanks for
welcome.
mentioning that.
But these are fun. I think that, like anybody, there's going to be people that like these games for what they are, or maybe even genuinely enjoy them, and that's awesome. I'm not going to get rid of Tooth Fairy or Roadkill Rally, and I can't get rid of Fireball Island while my kid keeps asking for it
Fair.
to play it. But obviously, if you want any of these games, you should just
Hit me
kind of
up.
reach out, pass along those cursed items.
You'll have to pay for shipping though.
Me?
Yeah, you. That's why I pointed at you when I said it.
Me for your shipping?
No, for your shipping to get rid of it.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, because they're not just going to take it and pay for shipping.
Right.
If you pay for shipping, they'll take it.
Yeah, but I thought you meant if you sent somebody your Munchkin, I had to pay for your shipping.
Yeah, that's fine too.
No.
Let's trade our worst games.
Let's go.
do that.
Yeah.
Well, that might happen.
Tim, I'll give you the gang for the Great Wall.
I don't know. I think you're losing.
Yeah.
I meant one of the miniatures.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Hope this was fun. We do have a Patreon if you'd like to be a part of that and support the show financially. If you can't, that's fine. But if you can, we do have lots of very raw, uncut playthroughs and some early access to videos over there. So also check us out on our Wednesday live streams where we do Whiskey Wednesday. We have a whiskey. You have a guest and we have a topic or a top 5, and we goof around for 2 to 3 hours, sometimes more.
Sometimes. Play fun games like autocomplete.
Yeah.
Or Flip 7, which is actually great.
Fun game.
Flip, yeah, actual fun game.
Actual
Yeah.
fun game. All right, guys. Well, for the Board Game Rundown, I've been Tim.
Bob.
Mike.
I'll see you next time.